Hi everyone! Well, I'm back, and this time around it's to tell you my final thoughts on the game. I've just finished it, and I have clocked a little bit over 47 hours of gameplay. Of course, I'm bad at the game, and I was taking my sweet time, so I suppose that the average gamer would probably get between 20 and 25 hours of gameplay out of this game. Considering the price, hey, that's pretty good as far as bang for your buck goes. Now, I did mention plenty of things in the other video in my quick look, which was not that quick, come to think of it. Anyway, so uh, I had given it an 8 out of 10 in my first look. And after finishing the game, well, let's just say that in the second part of the game, you enter a new map, and the map is, I would say, probably more interesting than the first map. However, there are a couple of enemy strongholds that rely a lot on ledges and walkways. And yeah, the environmental problems come back with fury in that part. And I think I've died 3 or 4 times by just falling through the environment. Like, you jump from one ledge to another, and for some reason you pass right through the frickin' wooden beam and you fall to your death. So yeah, that was, at the beginning it was irritating. Then it became frustrating. And towards the end, especially for a couple of missions that required stealth, and I ended up like dying 3 times, falling through, falling through objects. Yeah, it was extremely frustrating at the end. Now, in the second part, you get a power where you can control orcs and make them fight for you. That is freaking awesome. So that was the funnest part of the game. I really enjoyed myself just going from orc to orc and just branding everyone. So that was fun. Uh, However, it makes the game, well, it removes pretty much any challenge the game had. So if you want to keep a game relatively difficult for you, well, brand as few people as possible. So, uh, I've done everything in the game, and I mean everything. There are no missions left for me to do, except 2 hunting missions. And the reason I haven't done those is because when hunting animals, for example, uh, I'm not good at it. I suck at it. And when you suck at it, you die. And when you die, the enemies get stronger. And since I suck at the game, I don't want to make the enemies stronger. Anyway, you get where I'm coming from. So yeah, there were a couple of story missions that involved hunting, and those were extremely frustrating for me because the animal hunting missions are most of the time it's basically quick time events, and either I really stank at those quick time events, or the game was not very responsive. But they were more difficult than they should have been. And so, yeah, that was annoying. So if you try to stay away from the hunting missions, you shouldn't have too much trouble. However, sometimes you're just doing your little business, like hunting a captain. Oh, the captain starts running away, so you run after him, and then you get curb stomped by an enemy that came out from nowhere. So that was frustrating. Still, I had a lot of fun. So without all those frustration that stemmed from, uh, those surprise attacks from animals, or falling through the environment to my death, I had a lot of fun. However, since I have gotten stuck in objects and I've fallen through the floor so many times, uh, until those things are patched, I can't really give the game more than a 7 out of 10. I still really enjoy my time with the game, but there are some glaring issues. And that's not even talking about the story. The story was interesting, really interesting, but the very end both gave us a glaring plot hole, and it opened things up for a sequel. So it was kind of obvious. Um, However, the last battle was, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it was a quick time event. And that's very anticlimactic. So yeah, that kind of detracts from the score as well. It subtracts from the score. So yeah, if they solve all the environmental problems, I would probably give the game an 8.5, a very solid 8.5, because I had a lot of fun, and there's plenty of gameplay. If you only want to do the story, well, you'll probably get far less bang for your buck. I guess you could probably go through the story in 10 to 12 hours, but hey, doing at least some of the side activities is part of the fun. So yeah. And finally, as far as the sequel goes, it hasn't been announced yet, but I have no idea how they could pull that off. Because at the end of the game, especially with the branding power, you're pretty much a god. Everyone fights for you, so it makes the game really easy. So the only way I can see them make a sequel that is actually fun to play is if they take those powers from you, and it would be so freaking cheap. It would feel like the Matrix 2, where at the end of Matrix, Neo is God. He flies. He can bend reality, and at the beginning of the second movie, he's a freaking loser. It makes no sense, and I have a feeling that if they make a sequel, it will probably go that way. So the only way that it could work a little bit is if like they decide that Sauron removes every freaking power that you had. But that would be a cheap way of doing things. I don't know. Anyway, 7 out of 10. And pending a lot of patching, 8.5. Still, despite the frustrations, a lot of fun to be had there. Anyway, I hope that this was informative. Of course, I didn't talk about the gameplay. I did that in my quick look. So if you're watching this, I haven't watched quick look, go check that. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.